welcome to Watch Symposium. All right, let's check out some Rolexes. You can see to the right all the Rolex boxes. This shop had a moderate amount of stock. First piece, a transitional Kermit. This is a V serial, so 2008, 2009, engraved rehot, new box, and I mean newer style box. Now this is a Fat 4 Mark I dial, the first of the first Kermit. Box papers, everything including the anchor. You're looking at the most collectible version of the Kermit, and you'll be paying for it. A Hulk just shy of 20,000 USD. If you're looking for collectability and investment potential, I really think the Kermit is a better option than the Hulk. Here you've got a new Hulk, it's got the new card. You're a few $1,000s away from that Fat 4 Kermit, and I think in 20 years, that's the one that's going to be the most collectible. There's a lot of price inflation with the Hulk right now. All right, and we've got a new ceramic Kermit. There it is. Basically double the price of retail. Beautiful piece, of course, but I much prefer the Kermit and the way the light plays over the aluminum bezel. A Deep Sea listed as pre-owned, but it's got the new warranty card. Desirable, but probably one of the least desirable steel professional Rolexes. I think the James Cameron's the Deep Sea to have, and it's just such a big watch. The discontinued ceramic two-tone Submariner. This is a used piece. The new ones sell for $400 more at AD's. Another two-tone Submariner. This is a ceramic 30-dialed bluesy, and you can see it's pre-owned and it's been serviced. It's got its warranty card to the right, on the left a service card from RSC, and a pre-ceramic bluesy with some nice purpling there. I'm starting to like that purpling. This has a tritium dial, an in serial from 1991. It's got a box, but it doesn't appear to have papers. Still a pretty good price for a two-tone steel and gold Submariner. Here's a piece with a lot of collecting potential, the last of the 40mm Sea Dwellers before it went to 43, only made for 3 years, 2014 to 2017. Here's a pre-ceramic Sea Dweller, and they made this model for 20 years between 89 and 2009. This model is a K serial from 2000, 2001, and from 2010 until 2014, the Sea Dweller wasn't in the Rolex catalog until it came out in that 40mm ceramic that we saw earlier. Here's the newly discontinued 40mm no-date sub, and this is listed as a pre-owned piece, but you can see on the card it was sold in October of 2020. Why the premium? Well, because it comes with the new card, the new guarantee card, so this would have been one of the last 11460s. This is a box and papers pre-ceramic 14060M, so this was the last iteration of the pre-ceramic no-date subs, and this is a Y serial from 2000 or 2001. To its left, its predecessor, the 14060 with the earlier movement, the caliber 3000 versus the 3130. This is an A serial, box and papers. A serials came out in 1999. This would be a later version because the real early A's had the Swiss-only dials, as opposed to this Swiss-made dial. Now the difference between the 14060 and the 14060M has to do, like I said, with the movement. The M stands for modified movement. And the earlier 14060 with a caliber 3000 had a balance cock versus a full balance bridge, and it didn't have a Breguet overcoil. And so while it can be set to COSC standards, it never was. That's why I said two-line. But they could later do that with a 3130 movement in the 14060M. This is a box and papers discontinued turnograph. This is an F serial from 2003 to 2006. And this 6-digit turnograph has the blue parachrom spring, the engraved rehot, and it was the last of the last turnograph before that line saw its death in, I want to say, 2011. And it's the precursor to the Submariner, the GMT, the steel sports watches with the rotating bezels, and I'm trying to get some footage of it because this comes in a blue dial, a gray dial, a black dial, and a white dial. And I'm pretty sure this was the black dial, but it was in the shadows, so I couldn't really tell for sure. Notice the red accents, the red date, and the Jubilee bracelet as opposed to an oyster. Here's a Datejust 41 on a Jubilee bracelet with the Wimbledon dial. New guarantee card. Apparently this is going to be a discontinued dial. This is listed as pre-owned, but it's got the new card. This is a modern 36mm two-tone Datejust on an oyster bracelet, and check out the price. Is selling for about $1,500 USD. less than you could get this at an AD, and that's because you kind of can get these at ADs. This is the same thing, a 36mm two-tone Datejust. This has a Jubilee bracelet, different dial, older card. Now this was probably truly pre-owned, and check out the price. Really took a hit, $2,800 cheaper than retail. Just had a heart attack there. And this is a steel modern Datejust with the white gold fluted bezel, newer card, Jubilee bracelet. This is selling for a little above retail, specifically over 1,500 USD above retail. So it goes to show you that steel Rolexes, that's what people want. They don't want the two-tone models. Here's an Oyster Perpetual date. This is one of the cheaper ways to get a steel Rolex on your wrist. This is a 34mm watch. You can see the service card from RSC in the back. Kind of a low-key piece. Yes, it's got the Cyclops, but an Oyster bracelet and a smooth bezel. Doesn't really scream Rolex, but of course, the Cyclops does. Here's a Box & Papers 36mm Datejust. Has a diamond dial. A little too effeminate for me. It's a tritium dial. And to its left, another 36mm Datejust. This appears to have a pipe hand dial and an acrylic crystal on a Jubilee bracelet. It's got a service card in the back. A two-tone diamond dial, 36mm Datejust, and another couple of two-tone Datejusts with Box & Papers. Now, gold and diamonds on a Datejust actually are a liability. It's kind of interesting because they're valuable things. They should make it more valuable. And here in Japan, there's a slight premium on those pieces. I think that's because people here think there should be. Those are valuable things after all, but they're not as desirable. A 34mm Air King, and it looks completely different than the modern Air King, doesn't it? This is a P serial from 2000, Box & Papers, black dial. Smart looking watch, pretty watch. Doesn't look like a pilot's watch to me, and I guess that's why this iteration, this version, this incarnation changed so drastically. They really did revamp the aesthetics. This is an M, by the way. A 36mm Explorer, Box & Papers, Z serial from 2006 or 2007. I like the way the Explorer is just below Rolex Oyster Perpetual. I actually like the 36mm versions more. And there's the modern Air King we were just talking about. It's grown to a 40mm watch, has a different dial style. It's got the same movement as the Milgauss Faraday cage, blue parachrome spring, resistant to magnetization. Makes for a heavier watch. This is a new one with a modern card. A Box & Papers discontinued 116710 BLNR, and the prices of these have held pretty steadily compared to the all black. To its right, this doesn't have a box yet. It's $100 more. I think that's because this is a newer piece, a 2018 piece. And compared to the Batgirl, the Batman's prices are pretty steady. You can see the Batgirl here, and it's really not that much more considering it's a newer piece. It's got the newer movement, longer power reserve, Jubilee bracelet, the new card there, Box & Papers. This is what I prefer. This is what I would go for. Probably my favorite modern piece. But prices tend to jump when a model is discontinued, so that could account for the Batman's price. A latest of the latest root beer, and this is a two-tone piece. And this is one way to get your Oyster bracelet if you want a GMT. And it looks like the staff is looking to make a deal on that watch. They'll come down to that price. Now, I really like this. This is a 16700 Box & Papers S serial from 93 or 94. It's got the tritium dial. I think if I were to buy a 16700, I'd probably go with a U or an A serial and get that Swiss-only dial. I think for a couple reasons, one of which would just be collectability. Here's the GMT-Master II with a separable local and 24-hour hand, unlike the previous S serial GMT. Box, papers, no holes case, solid end link bracelet, Swiss-made dial. This is an F serial from 2003 to 2006. This is nice because it's still got the paper warranty as opposed to the plastic card, which I don't think is as fun. Thin font sans serif on the bezel insert. That's as it should be for watches post around 2002. Here's another GMT-Master II. This is a Coke. Now, look at the font on here. Fat font serifs. This is a Y serial, so 2001, 2002. This is probably a 2001 solid end link bracelet, holes case, Swiss-made dial. And probably the year after that, they started the thin fonts with the sans serifs on the bezel inserts. So this appears to be an original insert. Beautiful. box and papers really going up, those prices, unfortunately. I'd like to get more of these, but yeah, those prices are pretty prohibitive. Now this is a great deal. This is a great piece. It's got box, it's got papers, you got the tags. It's been serviced through RSC, original insert, A serial from '99. You get the holes case, but it's got a solid and link bracelet, Swiss made dial. You know, again, it's been serviced through RSC, so if it has had a polish, it has had a good polish. So good price on this too. Thumbs up for this piece. This is good buying right here. Oh, I'm having another heart attack, a mild one. It always happens when I encounter pre-ceramic GMTs. The shop staff attached a defibrillator, jump-started my heart. I was back to shopping in no time. I opened my eyes, I saw white light, thought it was heaven. Opened them a little more, realized it was a white dialed Explorer 2. Thought, am I in hell? Because after all, I am a 40mm Explorer 2 guy. A Milgauss Z Blue, and this was sold the 13th of November 2020, so pretty much fresh out of the AD. Beautiful blue dial, the interesting GV glass. I'm particular to the white dial discontinued versions. A 2020 41mm ceramic date sub. You could see on the tag it said new guarantee. Well, of course it's got a new guarantee. This is a 2020 watch, and this is what Archie recently picked up. Good pickup. And this also has a new guarantee card, which is much more impressive because this is the discontinued 40mm ceramic date sub. You can see those big lugs there. And check out the price. That's an expensive price. So clearly the staff thinks having that new card is going to make this a collector's item. This is a later pre-ceramic date sub, V serial from 2009. It's got the engraved rehaut. Now this model ended in 2010 with the G serials, but a few random serials slipped in, which started technically in 2011. So those are the real collectible ones, the random serial 16610s. And you're looking at one. That's what this is, a random serial 16610 box, papers, and hey, not a bad price considering. That's, of course, if you buy into the belief that people are going to be chasing these Swiss-only dials and random serial last of the lasts. Who knows? Shops and people selling watches certainly want to push that idea. That's what's going on with this 40mm discontinued ceramic date sub with a card. Now, is that card worth the premium, thousands premium? Nah. Unless you drink the Kool-Aid. And hey, I take sips. Unfortunately, I didn't get any footage of the Daytonas. They did have some. We'll end on this, a black dialed Sky Dweller. This has a new card. Probably one of my least favorite of the Sky Dwellers. I think I like the white the most. After that, the blue dial. But the black dial is nice. Thanks for watching. Take care. Hey, did you have fun? If so, hit the like button. And also, leave a comment about what piece you liked. For me, this Mark I dial Kermit with the anchor, with the Mark I dial. I mean, hey, this is an awesome piece.